Hey, I'm Ed. I worked on the hardware for this project.
I'm Renan, the Android app developer.
I'm Steven. I did the Raspberry Pi developer.
And I'm Joshua, Arduino software. We are team 866, presenting you Wait 66. So I have a question for every single one of you. Have you ever gone to the grocery store and found that you never bought an item seemingly because you never thought you were gonna run out of that item? Well, I got the solution for you. Team 866 built a system that allows the user to keep the contents or know the contents of your kitchen by using your phone. This system will be a pad that Ed has. It would measure the weight of the item, then it will go to the hub, then from the hub to the cloud, and from the cloud to your cell phone. Ed.
So I'm going to talk about the pad some more. I've got an example of a pad right here, which is sized to fit a large can of coffee. The pads are units you place throughout your kitchen, either in your pantry or in your fridge or on your countertop, and you place food items on top. And so the pads weigh the food items to determine how much of the item is remaining, and it sends this data along with other data such as battery life percentage remaining, and the name of the item, which is collected through RFID, over to the central hub where it is then collected.
So a little bit about the hub is we designed the hub using a Raspberry Pi as our microcontroller, and it's programmed to constantly listen for the weight pads, and whenever the weight pads are ready to send the data, it would connect to the hub, and then the hub will push the data that it collects to the cloud.
So the purpose of the app is to display the data from the cloud. That enables us to view our items in the fridge from anywhere in the world, and that includes the grocery trip.
So one of the main challenges we faced in this project was power constraints. We didn't want you to have to run wires throughout your kitchen in order to power these devices. And we also didn't want you to have to take the pads out every couple of days just to charge them. We're shooting for about a week on battery life, but we actually managed to reach 15 weeks of battery life on a single charge. We did this by using MOSFETs to shut down the individual modules that weren't currently being used, and that saved on a lot of current. We also use Bluetooth Low Energy to connect the pads to a central hub instead of using Wi-Fi to connect directly to a router, since Wi-Fi is a very power-hungry protocol, and that allowed us to save a lot of power. Using these methods, we got the average current consumption down to below 400 microamps, which allows the 1,000 milliamp hour battery to last as long as possible.
Another challenge that we faced was having the hub connect to multiple Bluetooth devices. At first, it was connecting. The trouble was connecting it to one Bluetooth device, and then connecting it to the second device. It would disconnect the previous one. So what I learned to do is to run the program concurrently, and we got that connecting.
So that's it for our project. Any questions?
Yeah, the size of the pad, it's quite big. You'd have to have a rather large fridge for it. Are you considering, or have you looked at smaller sizes?
We're using pre-made modules, and these pre-made modules are fairly large. If we know that if we get everything down to a single PCB, it'll be a lot smaller, and we'll be able to fit into a much smaller pad.
So do you have an idea of what the cost for a consumer would be? It seems like you would need multiple devices.
Yeah, these load cells are the biggest cost, and they're about $2 to $3 each. So a pad would cost about $15 to make.
So what's the temperature operating range for that pad?
We've tested devices in the fridge, and they actually do operate in the lower temperatures, but we're not sure how long the battery exactly is going to last at those temperatures, but they still function.
And there's no signal blockage?
We tested them. We were able to get pretty long distance, even with the device inside the fridge.
Do you know the temperature ratings of the devices?
We haven't checked the data sheets or anything on that.
How often do you take measurements?
Oh,
Do you exactly?
We made it so that it would sleep for 5 minutes, and then in those last 30 seconds, it would wake up to turn the scale on so that the weight would equalize, and then it would take the weight measurement. And if the weight hasn't changed, it would go back to sleep. But if the weight did change, it would also check the RFID and then and the battery life percentage, and then send that data over through Bluetooth. So that way, it's only sending the data when it's needed.
Yeah,
Do you think you could initiate of when the weight was placed on it, and then the consumer could see if the milk's 4 weeks old?
Oh yeah, the database could keep track of
The time it's
the
been
time
placed on
that.
it, how long it's been placed on the pad.
Or
Yeah,
it
we
could be
could-
on the app.
So
Yeah.
could you on the app say, this is pad number 2, and I've got milk that was placed on it last week?
Yeah, that could be tracked in the app, but the pads themselves don't keep track of that.
No, but your app could.
Yes.
Yeah, that could.
So in other words, to track this, you basically have to take everything you get out of your grocery cart when you get home, put it on the pad so it registers that first day, and then you slowly put it on the pad so you know how long it's been in there. To be able to see how long it's been there, how low it is. I mean, is that,
Well, something that we're thinking about is that companies such as Amazon, they bought out Whole Foods recently, and so they might have an incentive to put RFID tags on the bottom of the items themselves, and that those RFID tags could have the expiration date of the item saved in
yeah,
there.
that would make sense. Yeah, but otherwise, in a consumer, I mean, I just don't see this in my house. I mean, it's already hard enough for me to go to the fridge and pick up something and take it and put it back. I have to actually take a measurement and weigh it. I mean, I don't see the validity of that. I mean,
Well, it's not something that you need to put on top in the weigh manually. It takes care of the weighing manually itself. Like once you get it set up, it should be a system that you don't need to like maintain a whole lot.
yeah, but you have to set it up originally, right? You have
Yeah.
to go through, so that means you have to do that with every item of grocery that you have, that you're gonna
Mhm.
keep track of, right?
Yeah.
So
Test it with kids.
Did you consider approaching some of the major hotel chains that you currently use minibar sensors?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
They already do that. They have
Yeah.
that weight sensor.
Did you write the app, or is it just conceptual?
So, the app, yeah, I wrote it.
This is a concept drawing of the app, though.
Yeah, okay.
It's not really hard to make it like that, but yeah, it's pretty similar.
Folks, let's thank the group.